Good evening, and thank you for being here. It's an honor to stand before you as mayor and share the state of our city. This year, Helena celebrated 145 years as an incorporated city. 8 years before Montana achieved statehood, the people of Helena understood something critical: that a growing community requires shared responsibility, strong institutions, and a commitment to serving one another. In the late 19th century, Helena recognized the increasing complexity of city life and stepped up to move the community forward. Like Helena then, today we are prepared to meet our challenges head on. We are clear-eyed about what lies ahead, with an orientation towards leveraging opportunities for the benefit of all Helenans, and focused on providing the best services possible for our citizens. Helena is moving forward with purpose. Over the past year, our city government has focused on what matters: keeping our community safe, maintaining essential services, planning responsibly for sustainable growth, and investing in the people who serve our citizens every day. In late 2024, we adopted a comprehensive strategic plan shaped by community priorities and guided by long-term thinking. In 2025, we began to turn this plan into action. We passed a balanced budget that was fiscally responsible and focused on strategic plan-aligned priorities. This budget included investments in employee retention through meaningful cost of living adjustments and stable benefits. We reinforced our commitment to being an employer of choice, because great public services depend on great public employees. Thanks to our strong fiscal management, staff expertise, and coordinated planning, the city secured nearly $6 million in grant funding. This included $4.5 million in new grants for transportation. These dollars helped deliver critical transportation and infrastructure projects, reduce the burden on local taxpayers, improve safety, and beautify our streetscapes. Helena continues to grow, and we are looking to facilitate that growth thoughtfully and sustainably. In 2025 alone, the Community Development Department issued more than 3,500 building permits and completed over 6,300 inspections. Major projects came online, including the Montana Heritage Center and new commercial investments, including Tractor Supply and the Great West Engineering Headquarters. We also made meaningful progress on housing. Through the city's first Affordable Housing Trust Fund loan project at Twin Creek Apartments, we permitted 72 new affordable housing units. We funded capacity building with direct service providers who support the most vulnerable in our community through the Helena Area Community Foundation, and collaborated with our nonprofit partners to create a registration program for extreme cold weather temporary shelters. These efforts will ensure Helena remains a place where people of all incomes can live and thrive. We took major steps to prepare for the future by adopting the Helena Forward Land Use Plan and are launching a comprehensive rewrite of zoning and subdivision regulations, so growth supports livable neighborhoods, infrastructure capacity, and long-term sustainability. Public safety remains one of our highest priorities. Our municipal court, city attorney, police department, 911 communication center, and fire department work together every day to protect our community, support victims of crime, and uphold the law. This year, the municipal court improved service to the public by participating in trauma-informed court incubator trainings. The city attorney's office introduced a municipal code infraction enforcement system for those matters such as ADA violations that had previously gone unaddressed because the code didn't support enforcement. Our police department responded to nearly 28,000 calls for service, welcomed a new K-9, and published its first annual report. The 911 Communications Center achieved a 99% quality assurance score while transitioning to next-generation systems that will improve emergency response countywide. The fire department responded to approximately 5,000 incidents and continued heavy fire prevention and inspection work. We are especially proud of the progress made towards constructing Fire Station 3, an investment supported by you, the voters, that will provide a state-of-the-art training facility and improve response times while enhancing safety as Helena continues to grow. This summer and fall, it was hard to go anywhere in Helena without seeing crews at work. Across the city, infrastructure improvements move forward in visible and meaningful ways. Public Works completed the 10-mile watershed diversion structure projects, rebuilt critical water treatment filters, and produced more than 2 billion gallons of drinking water. At our wastewater facilities, energy-saving upgrades will significantly reduce long-term operating costs. Solid waste served over 176,000 customers, diverted tens of thousands of tons of material from the landfill, and expanded sustainability education throughout the community. Transportation crews delivered tangible upgrades across the city, installing new sidewalks and ADA curb ramps, repairing more than 1,400 potholes, resurfacing streets, striping miles of roadway, and improving traffic safety features. Capital Transit maintained a 99% customer satisfaction and a 95% on-time rate, even while navigating staffing challenges. Parking Services modernized parking technology and improved facilities, including the Jackson Street Garage, while Fleet Services maintained over 700 vehicles and pieces of equipment that keep city operations running every day. Over the past year, the City of Helena also led the formation of the Greater Helena Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, a federally required transportation planning entity. Work with regional partners and the public, the MPO adopted its first public participation plan and a unified work plan. And they also started the development of our long-range transportation plan. This work strengthens mobility, safety, and multimodal connectivity across the broader Helena area. I'm proud to chair the MPO as we plan for transportation systems that serve people well today and prepare us for the future. Helena's quality of life is enriched by our parks, trails, open lands, and community facilities, and in 2025, these spaces continued to shine. The city hosted over 5,000 park and field rentals, cared for 175 acres of turf, and more than 20 miles of trails, and restored historic assets like the fire tower and the Beatty Park locomotive. The Civic Center welcomed nearly 100,000 attendees, while our pools, ice rink, and youth programs served tens of thousands of residents. At Bill Roberts Golf Course, we saw a record 57,000 rounds of golf, added solar power, and supported programs for veterans, students, and athletes of all abilities. Our Community Facilities Department managed 44 citywide projects, improving energy efficiency, accessibility, and long-term durability in city buildings while preparing for major construction in the coming year. Behind the scenes, the city continued to modernize how we do business, launching a new online utility billing system and making significant technology and policy upgrades. This happened across finance, human resources, records management, and public engagement. These improvements strengthen transparency, accountability, and customer service, in addition to improving our fiscal stewardship. For the 37th consecutive year, Helena earned national recognition for financial reporting excellence and once again received clean audit results. Looking ahead to 2026, our focus is clear. Guided by our strategic priorities, we will deliver high-quality city services, invest in critical infrastructure, ensure growth, and support livable communities and neighborhoods. We will prioritize partnerships that improve our quality of life, including accessible parks and recreational opportunities, vibrant small businesses, and thriving arts and cultural experiences. We will modernize policies and systems to make city government more efficient, transparent, and responsive, while expanding opportunities for community engagement. Our city's strength comes from its people, the dedicated employees who serve every day, the volunteers and boards who give their time and expertise, and the residents who care deeply about our neighborhoods. By working together, we are turning vision into action, making Helena a place where families thrive, businesses grow, and people of all ages can enjoy a safe, connected, and beautiful community. The state of our city is strong, and our future is full of possibilities. With continued focus, collaboration, and innovation, we are building a Helena that not only is a special place to live today, but an exceptional city for generations to come. Let's embrace this opportunity and move forward together and make 2026 a year of purpose and progress. Thank you, and let's get to work. Thank you. And we'll now take a brief recess as our commissioners transition back up here, and we will begin our regular meeting. Thanks, everyone. All right. Thank you for your patience. With that, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
City Attorney Doctor.
Here.
Acting City Manager Petty.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Rigby.
Here.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. All right. First item on our agenda, bid award A, consider a bid award for phase 2 of the transfer station entrance reconstruction city project number 22-14. Director Leland.
Thank you, Mayor Commission. This is the second phase of the transfer station entrance. We have a lot of problems out there just with traffic flow, conflict with residents trying to cut down the transfer station when they're trying to get in. So the first phase was to install a gate. So we have a turnaround, and that was the first phase to avoid the conflicts that you get in when there's the time element when you're shutting things down. So the second phase is to take care of the entrance off of Benton Avenue. With it, we are going to install a new area for recycling drop-off. There is some land that we acquired from Carroll College through a land exchange when they vacated right-of-way over on the other side by Kessler Drive in there. They vacated a bunch of property, and then we got some property at the entrance to the transfer station. So we are going to do the drop-off location and then also channelize where the resident or where the customers can go and have a better turning radius for our transfer station semis that go in, because we're having a hard time coming off of Benton. You have to go into the other lanes. With it, you are going to have sidewalks that go all the way across the entrance that are kind of sketchy right now. That is a very, very wide entrance that we have. We're going to have a refuge island, so you only have to cross one lane at a time, and then it'll be a normal drop-off. With Carroll College, they had an entrance that they had a gate that was installed. It is on ours, and we allow that during the games, events, when you have the ceremonies out there. We'll open it up, but we didn't want to have that open during business hours because there's too much conflict with people turning in off of Benton and someone trying to come out of there. So hopefully I can get a picture up here real quickly, but with that, I'll answer any questions why we have some technical difficulties. But with that, we opened 3 bids on June 12th, and Mokel Precast was the lowest responsible bidder for $336,891. So now I'll answer some of the questions while we're just
Getting it.
up.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Director Leland. Questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Reed? Okay, other questions?
All right.
Do you want the printed one?
Thank you, Mayor Dean. The picture in the packet is a little hard to understand, so I was hoping I had asked for a slight, there you go, an explanation of what we're looking at, because the diagram, I think, was done by engineers for engineers, which I am not. So, Director Leland, if you wouldn't mind helping us understand the diagram we have in the packet and what we are looking at.
Yes, and thank you, Danae, for getting the presentation up and moving some of the flags. So just wanted to start out here. Is this the entrance to the transfer station? We have Carroll College that is here. We have Batchfields. We have Bill Roberts that is up here. And then moving forward here's the entrance that we're talking about. So we have Centennial Trail that comes down here. We have a sidewalk here with an ADA ramp, and then this long entrance that comes in, and then more sidewalks that comes down. You can see here that this is where Carroll College has a well, and all their irrigation is set up. So we are going to maintain it. They have an easement. They are going to maintain that little island as we move forward. And then looking here is if you go back to the previous one, this is what we're looking at. It's oriented the same, so this will be the entrance, and then there'll be another entrance down here. And so this is the entrance. We are going to make it a little bit wider so we can get the turning radiuses to come in to be able to get the trucks in here. And this will be the new drop-off location. And this well and the house that they have for all the irrigation is located right there. So we can orient that the same, and then you'll be able to come in, we'll have the drop-off location, so no one needs to actually go into the transfer station if they are dropping off recycling, and then they can come back out. And this is the outbound lane. They can either turn right or left onto Benton and then come out here. And this is the refuge island. It'll be a raised median. So you will have concrete and curb and gutter, so all pedestrians only have to worry about one lane coming across. So if you have more questions about what this is, and here is the gate coming into Carroll's parking lot, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Director Leland. Is there going to be like striping or beacons or anything for pedestrians navigating across all of that?
Mayor, Commissioner Reed, we are not going to have, we may have striping that comes across as far as a crosswalk, but this is just an entrance. It's not really a street, so we aren't going to have beacons for turning to come in. They already have a rapid flash beacon that is across Benton over here, so these are just going to be the turning coming in and out. So since it is an entrance, we typically do not put any beacons on. We will stripe it if necessary, if we see that there's a need for it.
Thank you. And then I know that this is an entrance to the transfer station, but we received a question from the public about whether or not this meets complete streets standards.
Mayor, Commissioner Reed, yes, it has the sidewalk, ADA, all across the frontage of the property. We will have trees that are associated and match the boulevard that is along Carroll College. So wherever trees are allowed with the site distance triangle, we will have trees in there, and we are going to take a few trees out, but replace them on Carroll College and into the median itself.
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments from the commission? Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? If you'd like to give public comment online, you may raise your hand. Okay, seeing no public comment, any additional commission discussion or questions? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Commissioner Logan.
I would move to award Phase 2 of the transfer station entrance reconstruction city project 25-15 to Mokel, 25-14 to Mokel precast and excavation in the amount of $336,000, $336,891.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, we will go to item B. Consider a bid award for project TSD-26-11 ADA ramps. Deputy Director Cooey.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. So this project is an ADA ramp improvement project that goes hand in hand with our annual mill and overlay projects. That's where we come in, remove a little bit of the street, put back new asphalt. So law requires us to go in either before or at the same time to update the ramps that touch all of that work. So this, and I apologize, I would have put the maps and stuff in there, but the areas for this project are going to be Rodney and Davis, kind of south of Broadway, and then there'll be, that's Schedule A, most of it. And then Schedule B is going to be some areas on Beltview, and then a lot of areas here in the downtown, some along 6th, some along Lawrence, and a little bit in between. So the Bid process on this one was a little bit fun. So we had a lot of back and forth with the attorney's office as we went through it. So at the bid opening on this one, there was a little bit of a technicality. So as I was going through reading bids, I think if you see the bid tabulation sheet in the packet, so there was 3 bidders, and the lowest bid amount, $879,304.75. At the time of the bid opening, I did not announce an apparent low bidder, just because their bid sheet that they submitted did not give us 2 separate prices for Schedule A and Schedule B, which is something we had asked for. So I conferred with the attorney's office before we went back and notified anyone of who the apparent low bidder was for that process. After talking with the attorney's office, we were fine with moving forward and kind of looking past the technicality on that one and moving into the due diligence, checking references. So we moved on to that. I asked the Rifle River builders to supply their references, both for themselves and any subcontractors they would use on the project. After going through that background process, it was just determined that they weren't quite at the level of experience that we were looking for this project. It's a pretty tight timeline, and it's a lot of ramps. It's twice as many as we typically put out every year. We're trying to get a year ahead into next year's mill and overlay. So after our due diligence period, we notified Rifle River that we were going to be moving to the next bidder. Had a conversation with them. They understood. We sent them a letter notifying them of that. So that brings us to where we are. And so tonight, what our recommendation is to award this project, TST 2611, the 2026 ADA ramps, to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder all around construction in the amount of $880,000. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commission comments and questions. Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor Dean and Deputy Director Cooey. Just for context, I know we've been working our way through some ramps. Can you talk just briefly about how we're prioritizing which areas to work on and to work on the ADA ramps, please?
Sure, Mayor and Commissioner Reed. Our CIP process, our capital improvement plan, maps out all of the different areas that we do every year for our mill and overlay. So generally, the way that we prioritize the streets that get done first in that process is going to be mostly by volume, and then secondly by condition. So we try to take care of the roads that are the most used, the most often by the most people. And not only that, but the ones that are in a place that give us the longest stretches and an ability to do the most work at one time. Along those lines, the addition of our own milling machine in last year's budget is going to help us to move into more of those sort of secondary and like residential type areas on our own. We can do a lot of that in-house now. And so the next 5-year plan that we come out with, you'll start to see a little bit more of those secondary areas in the plan. Because it's a lot less expensive now for us to do it ourselves. When we have to contract out the milling work, they basically come to town for a week and they do all the work. And so we've always had to focus on the more high volume areas in that process. So now we'll be able to move a little bit more into those other areas.
Thank you. And just briefly, did we consult at all with members of the ADA community about areas that are of highest priority to them?
It's a good question, Commissioner. Not generally, we don't. I know this is an ADA project, but it's not an ADA-focused project. It's a mill and overlay project, really. We're just required to bring these ramps into compliance at the time.
Thanks.
Other comments? I wonder, Deputy Director Cooey, could you maybe talk a little bit about, in reference to Commissioner Reed's question, we have our ADA transition plan, which we're making pretty significant progress on. Obviously, if we had additional funding, we'd love to make more progress. But $880,000 is nothing to sneeze at. So can you talk a little bit about how the ADA transition plan works within all of the other parts of the CIP when we're doing mill and overlay, sidewalks, ADA ramps, how that ecosystem works together?
Sure, Mayor and Commissioners. So the transition plan, right, is a much larger document, right? It covers the whole city. And so I know we use that, and a lot of our other departments use that at budget time when we're putting together our CIPs and we're trying to build our budget out. And so that really is a place that we do consult with the ADA community and make sure that we're keeping up on the transition plan. So it's a big plan and there's a lot of stuff to fix. But for example, one of the ways that we address that is the sidewalk loan program, right? So a lot of those pieces are in some of that transition plan. A lot of the facilities are in it, right? So that's really a bigger piece of the transition plan, is more focused on the facilities than it is things like the sidewalk infrastructure. And so we build not only in our budget ADA ramps, we manage that sidewalk loan program, and then we also typically budget a decent amount of slip, trip, and fall budget in the streets fund. And so that's those areas that we can, if we get service requests or complaints in about a trip hazard or an area that's just sort of deteriorated to the point that it's hard to traverse for the ADA community, we get those requests and those complaints in, and that's typically where we try to put that budget money towards, and that it is still a reimbursable item. So we could either go to the property owners and they'll pay us back right away, or we can have the option to put that on through resolution on the tax bills and recollect that money.
Great, thank you. All right, any additional questions or comments from the commission? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment? All right, is there any public comment online? Please raise your hand if so.
Madam Mayor, I have no public comment online on this topic.
Okay, seeing no public comment, any additional questions or comments from the commission? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Commissioner Logan.
I would move to award the bid for project TSD-26-11, 2026 ADA ramps to the lowest responsible bidder, All Around Construction LLC, in the amount of $880,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, we will move right along to communications and proposals from commissioners. Are there any communications or proposals from commissioners? All right, seeing none. Report of the city attorney.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, report of the city manager.
Mayor, Commission, nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Communications from the Helena Citizens Council. Do you have it? Great. Miss Ryan.
I'm the only one here, so.
Thanks for stepping up.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Katie Ryan. I represent District 5. The only thing that is new is we elected our new executive people. And we had that last week, and were sworn in last week. So, and then the new Citizen Council people who applied. So we were all sworn in last week also. And so far, that's all that I know of that we're doing. They're going to have an executive meeting this week. I think it's tentatively set for Thursday evening. So we have several districts that are vacant of representatives. So I want to just put it out there that it would be nice if anybody is listening who would be interested. We would appreciate people volunteering and adding to the Helena Citizens Council.
Great, thank you, Ms. Ryan.
All right, thank you.
Any questions for the HCC? All right, thank you. All right. Next item, public comment. Is there any public comment for any item not noticed on tonight's agenda? You just press hard.
Thank you. Good evening, City Commissioners, Mayor, City Clerk, City Attorney, and Chief Petty. My name is Lily Clark. I am one of the statewide leaders in Montana for Palestine. Today, the Minneapolis Police Chief, Brian O'Hara, on the Daily, in response to this last week's murder of Renee Good, a mother of 3, by ICE, said, quote, "Law enforcement leaders, executives have an obligation to their people. We have an obligation not to send our people out there and to tell them, well, you have a specific quota today." That went out the window a long time ago in professional policing. It's been reported that they, I will say ICE, are not even getting the amount of training that they used to get. I will say it again. This past week, ICE agents murdered a woman observing their acts. ICE agents now have a total of 47 days of training. This resolution, the resolution that residents in your city have pushed since Christopher Martinez's abduction by ICE in July, is your opportunity to say, "Not in my city." The requested amendments put forth by Montana for Palestine ensures reporting and that HPD requests federal law enforcement, which include ICE, to demask and identify themselves so that HPD officers and the public know that they are in fact ICE and not vigilantes. Everyone in this room who supports the resolution and the amendments requested by Montana for Palestine, please raise your hand. Thank you. I am not sure in what situations it would be inappropriate for HPD to identify a masked individual abducting someone to ensure that the masked individual is in fact federal law enforcement and not a vigilante. This is HPD asking ICE agents to do what is expected of every other law enforcement officer HPD works with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Commission. Hello, Mayor. My name is Ashley Fisher. I'm here today to request again the edits we originally asked for prior to Christmas, especially regarding Section 4 to make the language stronger, adding a Section 6 to help ensure that there is a way for the public to request information about any involvement of HPD contacting ICE. I must also recommend the same edits we originally wanted for Section 3 in making sure that we are complying with state law and documenting racial profiling and having that be public when requested. This is extremely important as we saw Keith Porter and Renee Good killed last week by ICE, and as we saw 2 others shot by ICE in Portland the day after Renee was murdered. ICE is escalating, and we do not want these people, and we do not know who these people are, and they do not know our community. We must keep our community safe against this regime by making these amendments. We must let our community know that HPD is on our side and going to help keep us safe. We do not have control over what is happening at the federal government, but we can do everything we can to keep our community safe. Please help us in doing this. I will mention again that people have been impersonating ICE and abducting people. There are cases of this in Massachusetts, North Carolina, Florida, California, and Texas. It has become such an issue that the FBI put out a warning due to the increased incidence of this throughout the year. This is why it is so important that we know it is ICE, and our HPD must ask them to identify themselves and demask. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Ms. Henry.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Shani Henry. I'm a resident of Helena. I am here once again, especially in light of the horrific recent escalation and violence by ICE across our country. I'm here to raise my voice as a concerned citizen about the urgency required for our city to make a strong statement that Helena will not partner with DHS and ICE on such egregious activity. In the past, I've raised concerns to you that public trust in DHS and ICE was poor. Well, now it is painfully obvious that these organizations cannot be trusted to function in our communities. We have no reason to trust them to appropriately train their employees, to de-escalate tense situations, or to follow the Constitution and the rule of law. They do not foster safety in our communities, and in blatant fashion are actively escalating violence, fostering fear, and eroding public trust. As a Helena citizen who wants to protect our city and our residents, all of our residents, I implore you to pass the amendments and to adopt the immigration resolution previously discussed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Henry.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Robin Layton. Over the last week, we've seen federal agents arresting, threatening, and using force against citizens and innocent bystanders. They have carried out enforcement actions in schools, in hospitals, and in several instances, they've hurt and killed people. It's very unsafe for children, and it's really chaotic out there everywhere they've gone. It feels like this operation really isn't about safety, but I just want to speak to safety and say that I want to feel safe in my community. I want my neighbors to be safe. I want you, your children, your grandchildren to be safe. So I'm here to speak and say, I think it creates unsafe conditions for all of us. And many places are bringing lawsuits because of it. We don't need or want this. We want ourselves to be safe. Please don't help and assist or encourage ICE because it's creating a very unsafe environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Jennifer Papini Chapla. I'm a long-term Helena resident. I moved here because I wanted to feel safe, and when I took a vacation in my early 20s, I decided that this was the place that I wanted to do that. I've raised my son here, I work in social services, and I've had a lot of experience dealing with our local law enforcement. I trust them. I like them. I've been to seminars where I hear about the training that they have to go through, and I used to feel safe, but I do not feel safe knowing that there are now ICE agents running around pretending to keep our communities safe when that is not what they are doing. We have the Drug Enforcement Agency to deal with drugs coming over our borders. We have the CIA and the FBI to deal with internal citizens. Immigration authority should be dealing with just immigration issues. We have immigration courts that can help with that. They do not need to be taking citizens off the street. My fear every day is that something will happen to my son when he is walking to or from school and I will not be there to protect him. That is a fear that no parent should have to deal with, especially in Helena. This is a small, safe, bucolic community, and I am asking that you please keep it that way by making sure that our law enforcement has the tools that they need to make sure that citizens know who is there to protect them and who is not. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commission. My name is Julia Cotter, C-O-T-T-E-R. I'm here as well to urge the Commission to adopt the edits put forward by Montana's for Palestine and pass the resolution. On Friday, about 300 community members came together to honor and memorialize the life of Renee Good, who was shot and killed by ICE officers in Minneapolis on Wednesday last week. The country watched in horror as a video showed a masked officer who shot Miss Good, shouting obscenities at her, and was immediately whisked away by fellow officers, not refusing to identify himself. The message from our federal administration is clear to us. We will shoot you in the street, and there will be no accountability or justice, and we mourn this loss of life. This shooting does not come as a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention to ICE and DPH as operations in the past year. 2025 was the deadliest for ICE detention centers, 32 people dying of preventable ailments, and ICE has opened fire on 16 different instances, 4 of which have been fatal to civilians. ICE officers have faced no consequences in any of these situations. It is clear to us that ICE's presence in Helena prevents a clear imminent threat to public safety, and we do not want these officers harassing people in our community. I listened and was amazed by all the accomplishments that Helena achieved in this past year, and not a single one of them would have been possible without Helena's community members, including immigrant communities in Helena. And not a single goal put forward for 2026 will be possible without them either. We want to feel safe in our community. We want to be protected. I know that's why all of you hold this position, is to keep people safe and make Helena a good place to live for everyone. So I urge you to do that by adopting these edits and passing the resolution. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cotter.
Good Evening, Mayor and Commission. Joe Vanderwall, Vanderwall. And I want to echo the sentiments of the previous commenters and I think future commenters as well. I think public safety is a really big issue, like Mayor Dean brought up in the State of the City today. And I think going forward, passing this resolution, including the edits that were put forward in some form or another, I think would go a long ways in ensuring the community feels safe. And I think kind of seeing what's happening in Minneapolis is getting a lot of people really scared. And I wouldn't want to see it happen here in Helena at all. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Erin Waldman. I'm a resident of Helena, and I'm here to encourage the Commission to pass the resolution with the suggested edits, specifically on asking federal agents to demask, standing against racial profiling and discrimination. I want to echo the sentiments of other people who have spoken before me that this is an issue of utmost importance to us. I'm grateful to the Commission for working in one of the previous edits and would like to encourage you to consider edits number 4, 5, and 3 specifically. Knowing that Helena PD is committed to not working with federal immigration authorities is a comfort, but I'd like to see the Commission go further in protecting all Helena community members, including our immigrant communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Minister Williams, and I more or less want to echo everything that's been said here. I am a interfaith minister as well as a former funeral director, and so death is not something that should ever be taken lightly. And I also want to thank our law enforcement because I used to work alongside with them as a mortician, and they're incredibly valuable to our community. So thank you for helping keep us safe. But I will admit I am very scared as a tribal member, as an aunt to tribal children, as an aunt to people who are dear to me here. The kids are scared, honestly. You should really listen to them. I lead some youth groups, and they're scared. And so on behalf of all of the children, read the red words. It says that we're supposed to love all of our neighbors. And if you read the Constitution, it says that even criminals have rights, which means not being shot in the face 3 times. Thank you so much for all of your time today, guys. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Susan Anderson. I have been a resident of Helena since 1990. I'm a mental health therapist in this community. I work with children. I daily see children who are very scared and traumatized by the events, by the actions of ICE. I see and I hear this also from my neighbors, my colleagues, my friends. And I ask you to please do what you can to increase the safety for our community. Please support this resolution and the edits that are asked. Our kids really need that reassurance. They need to feel that this city, this police force, the law enforcement, and this community is behind them and here to keep them safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Emily Pike. This is my first time at a City Commission Council meeting. I felt heartbroken, helpless, extremely discouraged. I've seen my friends and neighbors afraid for their lives, afraid for their families, afraid for their well-being. I'm a guest teacher, I'm a substitute teacher, and I generally work with elementary school, and we say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, just like we started this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I truly don't understand how we can say liberty and justice for all with integrity as we continue to support the things that ICE is doing. I strongly just want my voice to be heard in support of this resolution to keep ICE out of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pike.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. My name is Ella Smith. I live over on Flowery Street. And I don't have much to add to a lot of the previous public comment that you've heard, but I'll just say that I've been engaged in community organizing in Helena for over 10 years. And I think it's rare that you see such consistent passion appearing here in front of you all to really consistently bring clear asks, speak to the reasoning for those asks every single week, whether or not it's on the agenda, and really turning out a significant amount of people every single week. I've been incredibly impressed by the organizing. I've been incredibly impressed by the passion behind this issue. And I think it's really beautiful to see so many members of our community showing up here at a very hyper-local political body to say, this is wrong, and we can do something here in Helena, and here's what we think you should do. So I'm just here to say amazing job to everyone who continues to turn out on this issue, and here to really ask you all to just listen very deeply and really consider what you can do related to this issue and the asks coming forward at the microphone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, members of the Commission. S.K. Rossi, R-O-S-S-I. I've lived in Helena since 2009. I also don't have a lot to add. I would just, again, express appreciation for what you've done already. It does, I think, mean a lot to the folks behind me and means a lot to the community. I know that you're being asked to do more, but I think we can all agree that the worse things get, the more you're going to have to do. And the thing you're being asked to do now, which is support a resolution and some edits to that resolution, doesn't cost you anything. But the cost of not doing it is a trust of your constituents. So I'd ask you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think we have one more public comment in the room. While they're coming up, if you have a public comment online, please raise your hand. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Thelma Simon, and I'm a resident of Helena. I would like to add my voice to the support that all these people have said. And also my concern as a grandparent is I would like to know that my grandchildren would feel safe coming here to visit us. And as things are, they don't feel safe. So they might be safer where they are right now. But we would like to see them come visit us in some time. And we need to have safety as a #1 priority. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, folks online.
Madam Mayor, I have 2 hands raised online and 1 written public comment. Which would you like to entertain first?
Let's do the hands raised first, and then we'll go to the final public written comment.
First with their hand raised online, I have Caitlin Carroll.
Ms. Carroll.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you so much for taking my comment. My name is Caitlin Carroll. I've been here, 20 years this year. I too support the edits and additions put forth by Montana for Palestine. I would like to reinforce tonight's testimony with the argument that if we are hiring the best of the best here in Helena, then we as a city should be able to expect the best service from them for their safety as well as ours. The wishy-washy language in Section 4 says that our officers will attempt to request the identification and unmasking of each Department of Homeland Security officer. Respectfully, the job of a city police officer is to have awkward conversations, likely all day, every day. I respect our city employees enough to expect that they are capable of using their voices to request that our federal employees do not hide who they are. I respect that they can't force anything, but asking is just bare minimum. It's a simple matter of using their voices, so no passive language is needed. Furthermore, it's imperative that we hold federal officers to the same standards to which we hold Helena's best. Racial profiling, for instance, is un-American and I would say un-Montanan. It seems fairly simple to keep track of what happens and be able to report it out. I mean, again, these are our employees, and I think that we all should get to know what's going on. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Madam Mayor, next with their hand raised online, I have Brandy Swingley-Gurecki.
Ms. Swingley-Gurecki, please go ahead.
That mic working?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Brandy Swingley, and I'm here today to express my strong support for the proposed resolution regarding HPD cooperation with federal immigration officers and to urge you to adopt the proposed amendments that will make it effective, because we cannot let what is happening in cities like Minneapolis and Portland happen here. A few days ago, ICE agent Jonathan Ross shot mother of 3 Renee Good in the face 3 times. His next words were not to call for an ambulance or to express any remorse or even basic professionalism, but to call the woman he just murdered an effing B-word. I'm fully aware that Helena PD is made up of human beings who are capable of failure, but I also received my social work degree here. And I grew up in a family full of troopers, deputies, EMTs, judges, attorneys, and nurses. And that is why I believe that Helena's law enforcement community would never tolerate Agent Ross's behavior within its own ranks. HPD has worked too hard building goodwill with Helenans and trust with kids who might find a uniform scary to sacrifice those community relationships on the altar of an out-of-control, unprofessional, poorly trained federal agency directed by an administration that won't and constitutionally cannot exist in 3 years. I'm here to ask you to protect that hard-won trust. The proposed amendments are what transform this resolution from a performative statement into a framework for accountability. Specifically, we must remove the option for federal agents to obscure their identities, because as a mother, I can't tell my children to never get in a car with a masked stranger unless they claim they're with ICE. We must have public annual data on these interactions, and we must explicitly connect our city policy to Montana's law against racial profiling. I beg you to consider the long-term cost of public safety if we prioritize federal subjugation over a local well-being. Please choose your community over the whims of any executive branch, because at the end of the day, politicians in Washington don't know you. They aren't with you at the school pickup line. They won't be here at all in 5 years, but we will. We see each other. We recognize each other at Costco. If we cannot look each other in the eye and promise to have each other's backs now, then how will we be able to look each other in the eye at all when all this is over? Please pass this resolution with these vital amendments. Protect Helenans, protect your home, and protect the trust that our community has worked so hard to build. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Madam Mayor, I do have one more hand raised online prior to moving on to written public comment. Heather Hill.
Ms. Hill.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I apologize, I'm getting over a cold and you may hear a dog bark in the background.
That's okay.
But I'm here to support the proposition that's on the table. I have relatives that are living in the nightmare happening in Minneapolis right now, and I can tell you that it is very real what is going on and is affecting many lives, and I encourage you to pass these proposals. And I fully support the Helena Police Department, and they've always had my back, and I will have theirs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you'd read in the written comment, please.
First, with a written public comment online, Philip Robison. My name is Phil Robison, and I'm a member of Waking Giant, though I am speaking solely for myself. Thank you for the chance to comment on the draft resolution regarding Helena's response to federal immigration enforcement, ICE, in our city. I encourage you to pass this resolution with the amendment suggested by Montanans for Palestine. The most important ones are to prohibit racial profiling in Section 3 and to strengthen the provision to prevent face masks, Section 4. True public servants do not hide their faces. Thank you for your consideration. With another written public comment online, Mandy Needham. My speaker doesn't seem to be working. My name is Miranda Needham, a resident of Helena. I would like to echo many of the statements to and request approval of the HPD resolution. Particularly of note would be not supporting racial profiling and requesting the unmasking and identification of federal agents. And that is all the written public comment I have online.
Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. I wonder, Acting City Manager, can you just confirm for us the date that the resolution is on our agenda?
Mayor Dean, Commissioners, the resolution is coming forward in the commission meeting for Monday, January 26th.
Okay, great. Great. Is there any final public comment on any item not on this agenda? Is there any commission discussion? Commissioner Reed?
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Just knowing that the resolution is coming on the 26th, if we were to want to propose amendments, would you prefer, and I look to the city attorney, that we send those to you in advance for your consideration and for the full commission to consider, or move them at the time of the meeting?
Mayor, Commissioner Reed, I do think that it is more effective to get it in early, but you can do it either way.
Thank you.
Good, okay. Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Hi.
It's my first time getting to say that, yay.
Yeah, I'm Commissioner Gustafson, Julia. Sorry, just can you repeat the process a little bit? So this can be on the agenda for the January 26th meeting, and so we can have amendments sent to you prior, but we don't need to discuss those in an admin meeting. We can do the discussion in that January 26th meeting.
Mayor, Commissioner Gustafson, yes, you can bring them to a commission meeting, regular commission meeting, where this will be considered. It depends on how robust the amendments are, but all of them can be considered at a commission meeting and can be passed at that time. But best practices, I would leave to you all to decide whether or not it's something you would think should be considered prior to or after that January 26th meeting if they are robust. I may not have answered the question in definitive, but it is up to you and the body to decide whether or not you want to consider amendments right during the meeting or table it for another time if there are, information and considerations you have to make after that meeting.
Thank you. I think you answered the question. And I'm just, since I'm all new to this, since this item wasn't on the agenda, we can't discuss it now. We're just discussing process. And so we can discuss it on the 26th when it is on the agenda.
Mayor, Commissioner Gustafson, yes, exactly.
Great.
Process is okay, just not substance.
Thank you for that.
Okay, seeing no other commission discussion, this meeting is adjourned.